Cam handled it.
Huh.
And handled it so much so that his hat never fell off his head.
Oh, Kida, sir, my man.
It's good.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
A little virtual setting. Back to our virtual setup this week.
Yeah,
You know,
after
life happens.
I got completely sold out by my own people in the last virtual.
Hey, I don't know about that. Your people's.
we had a whole conversation. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna try landscape," and I was like, "Okay, cool." And I go and I twist my phone, and I'm like, and all I hear these little what are they? I don't even know, AirPods. They're not even mine, but these little AirPods is nah, that doesn't look right. So I'm like, okay, I'll just flip it back to portrait, and then we go off and record. Nope, no, we're good.
Except.
Video gets to our guy.
Mhm.
Says, man, Ken's setting was the wrong setting. He should have been landscape. And Hak's like, yeah, you should have been landscape. And be old people. Sold
Except,
out.
let's tell the whole story though. Let's tell the whole story. And then the whole story was this: that when Ken said Hak did this, our guy came back and verbatim said, "Oh, Hak was telling you that you're too close. You may want to back up."
He ain't lying.
And
but I heard, I'm going landscape. That was you saying,
Mhm.
I'm going landscape. Oh no, this doesn't look right.
Mhm.
And I flipped it back and we went from there.
So you know what I think the situation is here. The problem is, you may want to upgrade these AirPods because those may be that first generation AirPod.
Listen, you gonna have to talk to the council about that one because the board is now.
Well, you tell her that they may have backfired on you when I did tell you that you didn't come through. That didn't come through.
Listen, if I've learned anything in life in my 37-ish years on this planet, is I know not to cross the board, bruh. So you gonna have to tell her that because I ain't crossing the board.
No. See that's something where I have to relay the message through a intermediary there, and I'll leave that up to you, my friend.
Where they at though? Because they ain't me.
All right, well, sir. Well, we're back for another episode. But before we start, we do want to remind our viewers, thank you for being with us, staying with us, and help us reach our stretch goal. Right, we're on the track, we're on the way. Please subscribe, tell a friend, tell a family member, tell your neighbor, whatever you got to do. Help us spread the word. Tell somebody. Subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. Right. You got to go put a status out there. Hey, check these guys out. It may be some, or just check these guys. They're crazy. Whatever it is, right? Good, bad, ugly, we can handle it. We'll take it. So
yeah, I don't got the crazy glasses on this week though.
Right.
Which the board also disapproved.
Hey, did the board like your new nickname, Mr. Chico Suave?
So the board didn't
catch that?
Quite get that. Didn't quite catch
awesome. That. Hey, so I'm gonna keep going with this. So Mr. Okida here, Mr. Chico Suave, back at it again. My man's even put a toothpick in your mouth with the ring set up.
Give me the Razor Ramon treatment.
That's right. Hey, yo.
Oh, that was awesome, funny. Man. No, the duck hunt in the beginning of the last video was...
Bro.
Listen, as much as it hurt me, I was dead. I was like, this man put duck hunt.
Oh. And then it was beautiful.
Face like I said, it be your own people.
Hey, I told him that is a top 5 greatest moment in RBA history. I screen recorded and I kept it in the archives. That's going to be kept. I might, when we actually get, to our other physical offices, I'm going to print that image out.
Hang it up.
Put it in our Rushmore moments, the RBA Rushmore moments. Oh, man.
That was funny. That was good.
Yes.
That was good.
So, back at it again. I want to talk about something a little bit different this week. We do a lot of sports stuff, a little NBA stuff here, there, professional sports. I want to talk about a little bit something a little bit different around your and my personal experiences. And I feel like these are experiences that the average common hooper who goes and plays, blacktop basketball or rec league basketball kind of has these moments. And and it's a moment of being underestimated, which I feel like your and my soundtrack to basketball, right? It's just the story of our life is being underestimated. Because you and I we would go together, right? In our younger days, before the white crept in,
And
we
the
would
gray, yeah.
in the gray, right? So you and I would always go as a duo to the courts of 4 Mile, whether that was
Or
Croft or JD or wherever else.
or there was that brief period of time because remember, so we met in grad school,
That's true.
and then so there was that brief period of time where we got to enjoy the luxuries
That's right.
of the indoor gym facility,
Oh
and
man.
got to do some really good training work in there.
Yes, yes. And this was when you and I were kind of learning about each other. Oh, you hoop? Let's hoop and let's see what each other's playing styles like. And we kind of got to build chemistry there and all that. It started off at a little trash talking, and then
That
it kind of
ended
grew from
quickly.
there.
That trash talk ended quickly because I was you had kept up your playing. I was still a little rusty. I had taken a little hiatus.
Actually, I don't know if I ever told you, but during that time, I took a 2 to 3 year break.
Mm.
So when you and I started, that's kind of when I started again. Because it all started with the
Well,
trash talk. So,
it just kicked right in.
and it was like, oh, back at it, let's do it. Right? It's like riding a bike. But I felt like that was like the building of the chemistry,
Mm-hmm.
which led to the whole concept of, all right, let's train, let's really get to like, figuring each other out, how the chemistry is built, what you like, what I like, what we don't like, how we need to operate with each other. Because we're two different playing styles, right? I would say you're more of that 3-4-5. I'm more of the 1-2,
I would say
maybe
4 or 5.
3-4-5. All right. Well, I think that three could be interchangeable depending on the teams and the squads, right? Or what we have in our personnel.
So can we, before we start, can we
Uh-huh.
preface that
Yes.
all of the following stories are, at least for me, I'm only going to speak for the Chico Suave, is that all of these
Uh,
are in my prime. I'm retired now, so I don't want anybody coming into the comments talking about, oh yeah, he don't look like he can do that. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right, because I can't right now, but I've been retired for a good chunk of time now, but this is back in our prime.
yes. Yes. Let's go with our prime.
Well, my
I've
prime.
kept up your prime. Your prime. That's
I
right.
think you can
Because
still go
I'm
out there.
still
You can still go out there and hoop it up.
I'm still hooping, but I have I would say graduated to a more mature crowd of
Yeah, that's
working
true.
professionals who have day jobs that they have to go to and not worry about pride and ego
Mm-hmm.
because so and so is cooking me. And while we're talking about cooking, do you want to fill us in on this new storyline that just popped up? Literally, I would say a few minutes ago or 30 minutes ago about Cam Newton
Mm.
and how prime and how he looks like he kept up too.
And I mean, that was one thing I saw today. It was really random. Man. Social media just started blowing up that
Hmm.
that Cam got jumped. I was like, Cam Newton got jumped. Like what? That's
By
so
what?
then.
By
But then there's video. So he got jumped by a group, 6-on-1. They try to take him. But we talk about what kind of the theme of what today's going to be about being underestimated. I
yeah.
think I think those 6 individuals underestimated Cam because Cam handled it and
Huh.
handled it so much so that his hat never fell off his head. You know, Cam known for the hats,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
right? The
yeah.
hat's a little feather in there.
Yep.
Bro, his hat didn't even leave his head. He had one dude in a chokehold and threw another dude over a barrier like there was a Royal Rumble or something. Like
Wow.
and like of course now the jokes are flying. Like it could have drastically gone the other way. I mean,
True, true.
so all jokes aside, it's terrible situation for it to happen. Just kind of
Right.
ridiculous. But again, like, I don't know what people think. The common, person thinks they can go up to a professional athlete, especially a dude like Cam Newton, like, and then expect that you're gonna just win in a fight. Like, nah, bro. No.
I'm sorry. You're going to go out even at a football player on top of that, right? Not another athlete in a different sport. Maybe obviously not boxing or something, but like a basketball player, maybe who not
But
really an
even
aggressive sport in that
but
sense.
even that, like, even a smaller football player, I could maybe see. But like, Cam's like what, six? What is he, like,
Right.
6'6"?
He's not the prototypical quarterback.
Yeah, he's jacked.
Right.
Jesus, like, he's the last person I'm gonna fuck with.
He was like Calvin Johnson as a quarterback.
Yeah, like, come on,
Right.
now. Y'all messing with Cam, and this was at a 77. I think it was a youth football thing too. It's just like, it's totally unnecessary. Like, he's giving his time, he's giving his
Right.
energy and commitment, and y'all want to go jump him for what? Like, it's just crazy.
So what I've noticed about some of those videos is that whenever he shows up and gives his time, there's a lot of people just talking out of pocket to him for no reason.
Out of pocket.
No reason. And he usually handles it with, like, he talks trash bag, but he handled it with tact. But to go and say, oh, we're going to go jump this man? Like, come on, what are you doing?
So I didn't like Cam when he was in the league. Obviously, he was a division rival.
Right.
But he was also from Atlanta. So the fact that he was like, he be every game against him, man, he's giving Atlanta the business. So I didn't like him as a Falcons fan and a player, but like, this kind of post retirement Cam with his pod and the stories and the things that he's been sharing and doing, like, it's so easy and crystal clear to see the unnecessary hate that goes his way. And then, like you said, it just gets out of pocket with some of the shit that people say. These young boys come in there and just talking reckless.
Hey,
to a dude that's like 6'6", probably, I don't even know what he weighs, but 260 chiseled, 240 chiseled. Like, dude could play linebacker or free safety and knock your fucking head off.
Right.
Like,
So that's the thing. I was always a Cam Newton fan. I always felt like this guy was an anomaly of what he was. Right? He was different, especially that, like, when he wound up and threw that spiral. My God, that thing had heat on it every time.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that really got me is, if you're gonna go at a guy, right? You're these young kids, and he's coming and giving his time that he doesn't have to. He does it because he wants to. He gives his time back to you. Instead of appreciating being in the presence of, a professional athlete is wanting to give us their time, you're talking smack to him. How is that respectful? And why would he want to come back and help you? And even if you are, coming up in your time, and he's like, yo, this kid doesn't respect his elders. He doesn't respect, what I mean? Like, you got to respect the game and the people that came before you. What have you accomplished to go at a guy that has accomplished much more than you have?
Right.
That's disrespectful. Like, I'm not with that.
Right. No, I agree. It's a terrible situation, but one that we just wanted to kind of quickly touch on today, because that was not RBA. It was RBA. No. I mean, Cam handled his business. So that part of the situation itself just weak.
Cam definitely became a guy that you don't want to go mess with.
He always has been.
That's true, but he proved it.
Yeah.
So that's the part of being underestimated and coming through. So that's the theme we want to continue, right? And talk about how you and I, from a personal standpoint, similarly, we didn't go beat up, one person beating up 6 guys. I'm not. Listen, I don't want those problems. I'm not looking for those problems. I'm just trying to.
You probably could have on the court, though.
Now that's a different story.
You could probably play 1-on-6 and win.
I don't know about that, but I do know that when it comes to stepping up and RBAing it's something you and I are very familiar with. Right? That's where the concept came from. It came from the court. So we wanted to talk about how moments when we used to go out and hoop, those moments where we were underestimated. Listen, I do not look like the stereotypical prototype basketball player when I step on the court. Let's just be honest
No,
about it,
especially
right?
now.
Especially
Especially
now,
now.
right? You don't look at this and you say, "Oh, hooper." You just don't
Right. Right.
until you find out, "Oh shit, that's a hooper," right?
Right.
We don't look at you and I both coming as
Yeah.
a
I mean,
duo. Oh, let's pick them up. Like that's not the automatic thought.
yeah. So like, can we circle back and I think close loop on one of the things about us early on, right?
Sure.
So we look at our history and kind of what led to that, to this
Mm.
point of when we would come to the court and just kind of be overlooked, is we spent a lot of time just training together.
Yes. Yes.
A lot of time either playing one on one or we were doing drills and doing different things, shooting. We would practice post work just one on one, right?
For
Um,
hours.
hours
Hours.
and hours. I mean, we
Yeah.
pretty much every time we went out to hit a court, we were minimum 3 hours,
Oh,
right?
minimum.
Especially when
Multiple
it
times a
was,
week.
especially when we were hitting 4 mile, right? Because that
Yeah.
whole stretch of courts, or the lights are on, so we
Right.
get out there by 8 o'clock because they turn off at 11,
Right.
and so lights are off. We got to go. That's pretty much the only thing that stopped us at that point.
Man, this is
Um,
before kids, before marriage.
Before life
The bachelor life.
got crazy, right? Like
Right.
we could afford to do that, go out, 3 times a week for 3 hours about
Right.
just putting in the work. And
Right.
for the better part of a year or two, we
Yeah.
just did
Yeah.
nothing but one-on-one work.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's really
Drill
what I
work.
think for me, like, got me to that prime, because I didn't have the, like, I wasn't big on wanting to play with randoms, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Especially because we were working, and I was like, I don't want to get injured. I don't want to,
Right.
because so I can circle it back to college, right?
Mm.
So for me, when we talk about like stereotypical looks, right? Somebody doesn't look at me and see HBCU,
Mm.
right? For those who
Right.
don't know, HBCU is a historically black college university, right?
Right.
So I went to one, and I was, and as will continue to be, the minority out on the court, right? Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was the minority at the school, and
Yes.
I would go out and ball with friends and all of that. And what I learned was, oftentimes when we kept things within our groups, it was cool. It was a little bit more. I would say it was less intense. I mean, but it was still intense. Like, it was still a workout. We still were balling, but people didn't get in their feelings. Like, take it like,
Right.
we always, the running joke is always, nobody's getting a 10-day contract
Correct. Correct.
off of this, right?
There's no scouts here. Calm down.
And I remember one of the like last times that I played my senior year before I moved down here and met you was, I just remember that I was setting a screen for somebody coming. They were coming around a pick, and dude just didn't see it. He didn't see it coming. But I was still for like probably a good 7 seconds before the screen. Like, I saw he was coming from like deep in the three all the way up.
Mm.
And so I was like, I wasn't a moving screen. I was just chill. And I was just sitting there like, all right, I'm going to take whatever this is. So I'm just going to take, I'm a pretty big body though, right? And yeah, he didn't like that. And there was a similar play a couple possessions later. But when I came around, instead of just dude setting a screen, because he was smaller than me, he was still a big dude. He was shorter, but he was still a big, thick dude as well. Pause. But he went out like,
Ooh.
and so I have full momentum coming, and then a little mini scuffle. No
Sure.
big punches or anything thrown or anything. It was just like one of those little mini scuffles between both teams, because everybody knew it was dirty, and it was just one of those, just like sometimes it's not worth it, right? Like,
Right.
we're not,
Right.
again, we're not in the league, we're not making it. We're supposed to be for fun, to have a workout, whatever. And most of the time in my college days, I did. I mean, me and my boys, we go out there. Jay, who hopefully we'll have him on here soon, we can reminisce on some crazy nights, because it was always me and my friend Dex against my friend Jay and his boy Skinny. And man, we call him Skinny. His name was Skinner, and his last name was Skinner. And Oh, bro, I used to obliterate them in the paint.
Mm.
Obliterate them in the paint, and
I mean,
then or shoot Ken bombs, and that's how I got my
Ken.
like my Xbox gamer tag
Okay.
is Ken bombs because that's what Jay called all of my shots, and we had the nets with the chain link the
Oh yeah.
chain
Okay.
nets.
Ooh, beautiful
So
sound.
so when you made and it was a double rim with the
Ooh,
chain.
I
So when you
love
made
that.
a pure shot, oh, that was a beauty. But yeah, so just like some of the negative experiences, even though they were
Right.
far more positive, just kind of was like when I got back into it, I was just like, I'm not jumping back into playing with randoms. And also too,
Mm,
I was so rusty at that point because I'd been out for a
mm,
while, hadn't played in a while. So having that time where you and I were just going at it, number one, at that point I had been working towards getting healthy, and then number two, it was like, okay, the skill is starting to return, not only return, but increase to better than I was,
mm,
when I was in college and just playing random games because there was no training in
mm.
college,
Right.
right? And so
Right.
that was the big difference is like you and I
Right.
started that training, and I feel like that set the foundation for us. And that's how
Right.
also we did develop that chemistry for when we started playing to where we could kind of know like where the other person feels most comfortable on the court
Right.
and how to set them up for that.
Yeah. No, that was beautiful. And I want to piggyback that off the training part of it, right? There's this big thing about playing games, playing against competition, get better playing against great competition. However, when you play a game, at most, how many shots you getting up, right? Nowhere near the volume you're going to get when you train with each other and have that. This is why I'm here today. This is where I'm trying to get to, right? Like you and I would spend hours upon hours upon hours on just shooting and amongst other things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But all that shooting, like we even came to a point where we developed our own game of around the world, which is my absolute most favorite thing to do.
Yeah,
Because if you want to be a good shooter, play that game.
that would make you a good shooter for sure.
There's so many rules behind it, and you touch literally every spot on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to finish the game, you kind of have to, and it's all about up here too. Not only does it make a good shooter, it makes you more locked in and focused. You become a better, more concentrated shooter. So when it comes to that crunch time, you can lock in because you've gone through that mental exercise or the hurt or that dexterity, right? Building that endurance to be clutch. That's how you work on being clutch,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's how we worked on it. You and I would compete against, like iron sharpens iron, right? And
Right.
you and I would, that's literally all we did. And like, you're right, it built a foundation to the point where now I'm at that point where I don't even have to look at the rim anymore. I can look at the lines on the floor and I know exactly where I am and how I need to shoot the ball before I even look. And it's funny because my son was 10 years old. I just introduced him to that game because he's been asking me, he's like, I've been hearing about this game. I want to play.
Mm-hmm.
All right, bet, let's play. I put him through it. I'm thinking like, all right, he's going to, because most people who have played that game with us have always fizzled out, right? They haven't even
Mm-hmm.
finished the game because they can't, it's not something you get excited about if you're not a shooter.
Oh yeah, no, and it takes a while because there's so many spots
Correct.
and so
And
many
there's so many
rules
rules behind it,
that push you
right?
backwards or forward.
Exactly. And now you're like, I'm stuck in this going backwards and I'm trying to move. It's frustrating, but that's the mental part of it,
Right.
mental toughness, right? He played it, and to my surprise, and I played it. I didn't water it down to his level. We played it our way, our rules,
Mm-hmm.
and surprisingly, he did really well. He did better than I even expected him to. He actually finished the game, but he finished it to the point where he was only a few spots behind me.
Mm-hmm.
And according to our rules, like I had a pretty good night that night, shooting wise. Like I didn't go back much.
Mm-hmm.
So which was surprising to me. And now he's in love with the game and he wants to keep playing that, which makes me happy, obviously.
Right. Right.
Because that game is the secret, in my opinion, to if you want a great shot, play that game.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna put it out there. Like we're gonna put what the actual game is, all the rules behind it, and everything in more detail at another time. But that all around the world game is goat for me.
I
What
would
about
love
you?
to see some NBA players do
Yes.
our version of around the world because I would love to see how just how
A Steph would do,
their
a
shots
Dame
are.
would do, Trey would do, Luca. My God,
Yeah.
They
It'd
would
be
do.
fun
I
to
think they would do
watch.
amazing.
It'd be fun to
Book.
watch.
Yeah, yeah. That'd be a, you know what? That'd be a great all-star event.
I don't know if I don't think people would like to watch that.
They wouldn't. They
If you
would. You
don't,
got to be a
if you
pure
don't,
shooter.
yeah, if you don't enjoy it, you're not gonna want to sit and watch that. It's gonna be
Shit.
very boring.
Sign me up, man. Get me my popcorn. I'll sign up. I'll watch it all day. I can watch 4 hours of that. All right. So all that being said, right? So we kind of like digress a little bit, but to come back to like the whole underestimated side of it, you had those experiences, like negative, obviously, right? Some were negative. You have positive, negative experiences, but usually when it comes to being underestimated, it usually starts off as a negative experience,
Mm-hmm.
which then quickly has to be, you make it into a positive experience when you go through it, and it kind of pushes you and motivates you, and then kind of like fuels that. Like, it got to the point where when you and I started playing with randoms, where they see an Indian guy and a white guy show up to the court and
And
be
not
like,
just any white guy, right? It's not like I'm built like a D1 athlete, right? I'm only
mm,
6 foot. I think you're 6'1", right?
mm-hmm,
Like it's like, oh, okay, this is this chubby white kid and this Indian guy. Like, we'll pick them last.
right.
Like,
And that's going to
okay,
be easy work, right?
yeah. I mean, that's the one specific story that sticks out in my head. I don't know if we're ready to jump to that yet,
Yeah, let's do
but
it. Let's do it.
but that's the one. I mean, and this was after we had been playing with people for a while, but it was just one night where. So one thing is there was a consistent group of people that came through the 4 mile courts,
Mm-hmm.
4 mile or JD, right? 2 different courts within a mile, half mile of each other. If one was packed, you're always going to check to the other. But it's the same general group of people, right? And everybody kind of would know everybody for the most part. But there would still be these times where you
Right.
get some pure randoms,
Right.
right? I put other ones like semi-randoms. Like, we didn't know them much by name,
Right.
but we knew who they were.
We
knew
recognize
what
each
they
other.
looked like. We played
Right.
multiple times. They learned, right?
All right.
They learned
They
pretty
knew.
quickly.
They knew.
They learned.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get these other groups that would come and they just didn't know yet. They weren't hit to the game yet. So
Yeah. Oh, you're going to learn today.
well, so in this particular instance, that was one that sticks out to me the most, is because there was a new group, some dudes we've never seen before, ever. And this was several years into us playing there. So by that point, we kind of knew everybody. And these
We
guys,
built a little reputation. We built a
we
little
had
name
a
for
little
ourselves.
reputation by that point. Yeah. But at this point, don't know who these people are. And that's cool. That's fine. Because we had the confidence at that point. Like, we're not backing down from nobody. So we just go,
Oh yeah, we're not ducking anyone.
yeah, we're gonna run it and see what happens. If we lose, we lose. If we win, then we do what we're supposed to do, right?
Right.
And there was because we were already setting up a game. So there was a little squabble in the beginning about who
got
was
next.
gonna run, who got next, who's gonna run first, and who got next. And they wanted to jump the line, which come on now, it's like universal. Right, it's universal.
You're breaking the unwritten rules, man.
Like you
There's
got
a code. There's a code of hoops.
Right. Like, you got here second, you got next. Right? So they were a little irritated by that. That they felt like, for whatever reason, they arrived at the court and the court should be theirs. Right?
Right.
Nah, bro, that's not how this works.
Right.
So we ran a little game. I don't think they really paid much attention to it. They're like, yeah, whatever. And as we get ready to transition to the next day, we won, obviously. So we got to stay up. We knew we're gonna win because we want to stay on and play these guys now, right? Because now I'm just annoyed. I don't know about you, but I'm just annoyed by the fact that, like, y'all ain't gonna follow the unwritten rules, okay? And and this isn't your court, like,
and right, you violated the code.
We didn't own the court, right? But it was like our court.
I mean, I consider it home court.
Community, right? Our community court. Like, if you're part of the groups of people that come there regularly, it's all of our court. Right. But y'all are some outsiders. This ain't y'all court.
Right. It's like showing up to new territory. You don't just go and act like
you own a place. Nah.
Right.
So I was annoyed. So I was looking forward to it. And then there was somebody from their team that wasn't going to be able to play. Right. And they were trying to. That's what they were trying to get. And they were like, no, they're going to have next. And all I remember is, and I heard it because I was shooting, and I heard it out of my ear. And you were like right next to me, and I just hear, "Oh no, don't worry, it don't matter. This gonna be real quick.
Yep. I remember this.
This gonna be real quick."
Yep.
And I was about to go up and shoot.
And you did
I
that
looked
just
over.
like, we
I looked over at you, like we didn't say nothing.
nope.
We did not say a word
Yep.
because we didn't want them to hear like
Yep.
we
Oh, we spoke
no sold
though.
it.
Yeah.
Huh?
We spoke, but
Like,
non-verbally.
through our eyes
Right.
because we no sold it to them.
Right.
We pretended like we didn't hear it.
Correct.
But to us, oh no, we looked at each other and we both gave that look like
Yep.
they're gonna learn today.
That's right.
And got the ball, checked, smoked them.
Bro,
Smoked them.
it was so bad. He looked like he was culture shock.
There was culture shock.
Yeah. It was
absolutely
bad.
was culture shock. But just like I think it was one of those moments where we were like we both just felt like we were I don't know what the right word is. It like not overlooked, but it was just like
Disrespected.
Disrespected. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. It's disrespected. Like they would. I've been like we've been out here grinding for years, 3,
Right.
sometimes 4 times a week.
Right.
And y'all think you're gonna just run up here and be like, "Oh, yeah, this is gonna be easy, light work."
You know why? Because they judged a book by its cover.
They did.
That's what they did. And
but see, the thing that they didn't realize was that the chemistry was there, and then also too, and I don't remember exactly who we were playing with, but again, the people that we play with them regularly.
Right.
So not only was there chemistry between you and I, but there's chemistry with the other people we're playing with. So even getting contributions or them, setting us up for where we like, where does Ken like to go on the block, right?
Right.
And which hand am I getting it to,
right.
So that he can make the move that he makes, right? Or or how do I set up Hak with one of his deep KD shots? It was KD at the time, because your shooting form's like KD, but
that's funny. I've never seen it though. Like that.
Oh, I have, but it was just so like beautiful in that moment to just watch
to shut them up and to give them a yes.
It was like okay, we're gonna watch the stereotype. We're not gonna fight about it.
Right.
We're not gonna throw fisticuffs and get mad. I mean, we got mad, but we got mad internally. We're not gonna just talk. Right. We could have easily started jawing at them and told them what we were gonna do. I don't need to tell you. We're gonna do. We're gonna show you.
You know how they say, "Don't tell me, show me." All right, we'll show you.
Right, and we did very quickly.
Yes,
very quickly.
And guess what happened? It did end quick, just not for us.
Just not for them. And
it was,
and then we continued on because there are other people had to play.
Absolutely.
But by that point, they had learned quickly.
Correct.
Like, okay, here's how these guys play. And they still didn't beat us.
Nope.
They still didn't beat us. There was very few times. I mean, I don't want to sound like it's bragging or anything like that, but there's very few times that collectively, us and our group, whenever we would play, would sit because we lost to somebody else. We generally had the court for the whole night.
For the most part, I would agree. We averaged majority wins, but again, that not because I wouldn't say because we were superior or better in that sense, but it was more because we developed that chemistry and working on and that training we did that set the foundation that really built it from there. That boring work nobody wants to do.
Well, see, that's where I'm like, so I agree with you on the training side of everything, but I think that there's a balance with the game reps because yes, you're not getting as many shot reps or whatever reps that you get in individualized training, but until you experience the game atmosphere, you can't read and react to the things that are happening. I agree. Like, so you need to have the combination of both.
Agreed.
So that you can continue because now, okay, yeah, I can take the things that are happening in training, but now I can actually watch, okay, how does Hak treat his defender, right? Because we can practice it all we want, but how many fucking times did I go set a pick for you and you go the wrong way? I mean, I would walk up and like, I set a pick. And this motherfucker goes, I'm like, Hak, take the pick.
I
What do
don't
you
need it,
do?
bro. I don't need it.
But that's what it's there for. Like,
See, remember I would always tell you, I'm not worried about the guy in front of me.
but it didn't
I don't need it.
matter. It didn't matter. I like, you know how much effort that guy's gonna have to try to get around me. Come on now, take the
I mean,
pick. He'll always run away from the pick. I'm just get so mad.
I
And even
just
if
didn't feel.
and even if the second guy stepped up, then I can roll to the basket or I can pop out for like. Oh, I get so mad. But
I
but
mean,
that's the things we would
yeah,
learn and practice with.
right, right.
I mean, we would learn through games
True, true.
to refine, and then after the game, we kind of decompress and talk about things and all that as well. But that
Right,
chemistry it's so hard to. I mean, that's years and years and years of
correct.
playing together multiple times a night, 3 hours a pop.
Yes, and with playing, but I agree. But I don't feel that the balance has to be a 50-50 balance. I still feel the training balance has to be a lot higher. You could play, but you don't have to be. It doesn't have to be even. And our favorite person, everyone's favorite person, Kobe, was a big proponent of that. He actually said it himself to people who went and played summer league basketball. He's like, I don't play in the summer. I don't do
But
that because I train in the summer.
I don't want to rehash our training with the competition argument, but I was just saying, like, that's what, for us, like, that's what helped. It was like the pathway towards,
Yeah,
okay,
agree.
now we're seeing how it happens in game reps.
Yes.
So that when we do get somebody else, right,
Right.
we can quickly adjust because we just have to figure out individually what they're doing.
Right.
They have to figure out how, because we're working as a machine.
Right.
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 Even if you're running away from the picks, we're still working as a machine. We got to counter to the counter to the counter.
Correct.
So
we even had to play. Remember GG?
GG. I mean, it's simple. Like, nobody. I mean, somebody could figure it out. I'm sure.
Of course.
They wanted
GG,
to.
G&G, right?
In the heat of the moment, they're not figuring it out.
Nah.
No.
So, absolutely not. And there was a similar moment, and there were two moments I want to talk about real quick. One was this moment where it was at Croft, and you weren't there that day. There was another guy there, and he was part of our group, but he was playing with a bunch of randos again. He had his own little rando crew that he made on the spot, and I'm like, yo, what's going on here? Like, usually we vet our guys before they join the group.
Mm-hmm.
But he took it up on his own. Like, they took the liberty to just initiate without the betting.
Yeah.
Nah, bro, you don't do that. And that kind of irritated me. So I'm like, I bet. Here's what we're gonna do. You keep your group, because he thought he had the power team. Keep your power team. I was like, I'm gonna take everyone who you think is not on the power squad. I'm gonna take all those guys. This is almost like the Jimmy Butler story. But
the Hak Butler story.
But the crazy thing is, like, that irritated me. But what really got me was that they had this smug look on their face, right? This, like, oh, another easy run, because they saw that we were all undersized, undermatched. They were these big dudes. They're gonna run us, and that just really got me. And then the audacity of this guy who's in our group to do something like that.
Who should know better?
It'd be your own peoples, like we say, right?
Your own people. I'm telling you.
So I was like, I bet, let's do this. Shot for ball, they got the ball because they were the winning team before. All right, the shot they missed, they got one shot, right? We got the ball, next possession, they never saw the ball again. This was my most efficient game I've ever played in my life. Game was to 11, right? 2s and 1s. I made 5 2s in a row and then a 1. And that was the end of the game. I've never went 6 for 6. And the most efficient way to score, right? 2s, all 2s, and then a 1.
Mm-hmm.
And all this, and you know that look that the Spurs gave T-Mac when he did that 13 point or 20, whatever? That's the look I was getting. Like, what the fuck just happened?
Right.
And even my own team was like, yo, what just happened? I'm like, yeah, next is what happened. Next. Don't ever do that shit again. Like, that shit just irritated me. But like that smug look of like, yo, why are you underestimating us? Just because on paper we don't look right doesn't mean that it's going to work out that way.
Right.
And that's the same thing. Like I teach everybody, I teach all the kids too, same thing. Like I don't care what their squad looks like. It doesn't matter,
Mm-hmm.
right? When that ball goes up, well, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
At that
No,
point, it's
that's it.
about heart, right? So you got to go at it as that. And the other story I want to bring up is it got to the point. This is another night you weren't there. Like we had a group of guys, right? We were technically we had a very diverse ethnic group where you were again the
Mm-hmm.
minority in the group,
I've always been the minority, bro,
right?
in my circles.
But this group decided we're gonna invite somebody, and they started. You know what they started calling this guy? First time I seen him, he showed up to the court, and this is again at 4 Mile, and they were like, "We're playing," and this guy, I see him coming up with our boys, and I'm like, "Yo, who's this new kid they brought?" Nobody said anything about him. That's cool, whatever, right? He may be just watching. And then I see them when I'm playing, us playing, and he's kind of scouting me. And they were like pointing things out and talking to him, like, "Oh, you see this, that." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I see what's going on here."
He's the hack stopper. They brought in the hack stopper.
Bro, that's literally the words that came out of the mouth when he stepped on the court. And that's the story. I called it the hack stopper,
Mm.
and that's what they said. Oh yeah, we got the hack stopper.
Was this was this was this the dude that's name started with an N? And his
No,
name
I don't know.
first name
No, no, no,
started
no,
with
no, no, no.
Oh
You're talking about the other group?
no. Who was the hack stopper? Do you remember the name or
I know
was
who it
it
is. Like we're cool now. We're all like friends.
Oh okay.
But
You have to remind me who it is after the episode.
I'll tell you. And and no doubt, like there was a lot of hand checking, a lot of hand checking. But it came to the point where like that just irritated me. When like, what? Like, how dare you?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You the hack stopper. I bet. Let's do it. And as soon as the game started, the KD shot, the Steph shot. I was at the round logo. Let it
Mm-hmm.
go twice. All of my grill, splash.
Mm.
Again, splash. And then he's like, "Oh, can I see your hand? What did you just do to me?" And I was like, "They call you the hack stopper? I right? You may want to change that name
Mm.
because like it's just things like that. And I'm not saying like I'm some goat. I'm not. But it's things like that that really like push you to say you're gonna underestimate me. Then come prepared, right?
Mm-hmm.
You never underestimate the competition. Don't give yourself a nickname before you have proven to be deserving or worthy of that nickname, right? There's only one guy who can give himself a nickname, and that's Kobe.
Mm.
But he proved himself to be that before he gave himself a nickname.
Was this the dude that maybe semi tackled me in the one game?
No, no, no. But it was
Okay.
his friend. It was his
Oh,
friend.
Okay.
It was his friend.
Got
And we're all cool now.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like for me, I felt like every time that we played against somebody new, because we kind of established ourselves where at least that the crew of people that would come through, even if they didn't come through frequently, but we would see them just from time to time and all kinds of different ethnicities and races and everything. Like after playing with us a few times, they were like kind of like, okay, like we know we're gonna have some good games, right?
Right.
Win or lose, like we know we're gonna have some good games, and I didn't feel like there was that level of underestimation, but it just seemingly every time we played with somebody new,
Right. That's
it
what it
was
was.
like, okay, there's an Indian dude and this but somewhat overweight white guy, like we're gonna run circles around them,
Correct.
and that was the what they would exude. That's what they would. I mean, some of them flat out said it.
Right.
Others, it was just more like how they presented themselves to
Right.
the crew. And what I loved was that we always had that confidence within ourselves to like,
Right.
okay, we might take some L's. I mean, we had some, potential college players that showed up before.
Well,
Like we
right.
took some L's.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Like,
Of course. Yeah.
but we still fought.
Absolutely.
We still played hard.
Absolutely.
There's that one that still pisses me off to this day where we got smoked by those two dudes.
Oh my God. Yes.
And
Yes.
I was just like, I was just having like probably the worst day I had on the court, like point blank period. But it was just pissing me off because I'm like, they're not doing anything special.
No,
They're making good shots.
Right, but
They're
nothing
making
special.
tough shots, but like
Right.
everything was wet. Every tough shot was contested, wet.
It's just one of those days that
it was bad. Yeah, but like so we took our lumps too.
Just to really quickly, I actually saw that guy later, like a few weeks later. I took it all out on him, smoked the shit out of him.
I remember.
So we got our payback.
But I wasn't there, so I never got the payback. So
okay,
you did. You got your retribution. I never did. I still have to live with the fact that
you can live through me.
I got smacked that day, but that's fine. Like, but the point is, like, we don't want to come off like we're talking about this whole episode and how like we're just running dudes off the court.
Oh no, we took L's. We took
But
L's.
it was more about when people who didn't know us would from the outside just kind of assume like, oh, these guys, they don't really know how to play basketball.
Right.
When in reality, it couldn't have been further from the truth.
Exactly. And just the whole concept of the takeaway I wanted to kind of give and share back to, especially the youth, right? My son always watches our episodes, and to him and to anybody, never, ever, 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 ever underestimate the guy you're playing against, but never, ever, ever take that for granted and not say or get intimidated by or think less of, because once that ball goes up, it's all fair game, right? It's all fair game. Go out there, work, play hard, have confidence in yourself. Obviously, you have to put in the work. Mm-hmm. You can't expect that just to come overnight. Like you and I, we put in a lot of that unseen hours work that most people don't like to do or want to put in, because every time I've had that conversation, hey, let's go train. I'd rather just play 2-on-2. Okay, or 3-on-3. Right. If there's not enough guys coming, I'm not coming. Like for me, right, it even got like that just irritates the shit out of me. If we get 4 guys, I'm ready to hoop. I'll play 1-on-1. Right. I'll even do a shooting competition. Like that's just me.
Right.
And it got to the point even where you and I would have to, it was a rule that you and I can't be on the same team anymore. Oh, that used to piss the shit out of me.
Oh, it used to bother me so much.
Right? Because like you're accepting the L in your mind. Why? Right. That's weakness. Right? Don't do that.
I mean, legitimately, like it was almost like there will be on the verge of tears. Like,
oh, no, you're argumentative.
I'm not going to play if you two are on the same team.
Right. Like we would actually argue about this shit. Like what does that mean?
So we're not going to get a game or run in because you don't want to.
Right. And that's fair. That's so far. It's so far from RBA. It's like the most non-RBA thing ever. Yeah. Right. It doesn't matter who's in front of you. Like I told my son, like, listen, like I'm old. I don't care if fucking Kyrie's in front of me. I'm sure he'll smoke the shit out of me. But that doesn't mean I'm going to just back down and let him do it. I'll try. Right. I may look like a fool guarding him. Right. But I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to get intimidated.
Right.
Right? You got to just go out there and do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just put in the work. So that was the whole kind of like the learning lesson I wanted to, hopefully that came through. Hopefully it didn't come off as like we're just being cocky. We're not. We took plenty of L's in our days. But at the same time, those L's also taught us how to go back and correct those mistakes, which is the reason why we took those L's. We roll a debrief and come back and make those adjustments and run it back, right? That's the biggest thing. All right, run it back. Run it back. Because I'm not leaving tonight without getting one dub. At least one dub.
At least one. We got to get one dub.
It's just one dub. But run it back. Run it back is like the most common phrase, right? If there's no one's waiting, run it back. Mm. That's it.
Maybe that should be the name of this episode. Run it back.
Run it back.
You just gave it. You just gave Antonio our episode title.
There you go. So and just like these episodes, just like our podcast, every episode we're gonna run it back. Right?
Run it back.
New episode, run it back.
Run it back.
Every episode is a learning lesson.
Right.
We make the adjustments. I mean, it's like everything in life. It's reps, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You put reps out there. Now you're putting reps in here.
Yeah. You learn not to have your camera on portrait. You rep it to,
exactly.
to landscape.
You learn how to listen.
Learn how to listen and figure out what your payback's gonna be for your own people.
Hey, 2-1.
Oh man!
I look forward to this. This is gonna be a nice little back and forth of paybacks.
Oh, of course. Ongoing.
Uh, absolutely. Hey man, listen, I told you some crazy stories about some of my pranks that I used to pull.
No, yeah, yeah. If you're willing to go that far, and I'm out. I'm out. I'm too old for that shit.
No, I'm too old for that now, but you know,
No.
the creativity was there.
Oh,
But
creativity is always there.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, sir, anything else
No,
from
sir.
you?
Just appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you made it this far and listening in our memories and trip down memory lane, um, is a big part of our lives that truly has, like you say, people come and go like the
Yeah.
seasons, but this has lasted, and
Yeah.
that was the foundation. Crazy,
Yes.
like that's the foundation it was built on. We were at JD at the court when we told each other within a span of 3 months that we were having our first child, both boys, right? Like
Yes. Yes. That's
both,
right.
both told on the basketball court, right?
That's
Like
right.
like
Yeah.
that's been the foundation of what it's all been
I
built
forgot
on,
about that.
and that's going back to 12 years now, 12, 13 years.
Wow.
It's crazy,
This is
crazy.
pre-renovation, JD.
Pre-renovation JD, and I went and I came at it first because I think we found out in December, and I think
Yeah.
you were literally like
3 months,
5 weeks later.
4 weeks.
It was not,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't far after because they're only 2 months apart.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very quick, and you were like, I remember you were like, so I got something to tell you, and I just knew in that moment I was like, oh snap, and now
Yeah.
we both have boys that are the same age and hopefully doing
Right.
another summer league this year. It's crazy how come
Wow,
full
man.
circle.
That's crazy, isn't it? Wow.
It is. It is.
So yeah, that whole era, that whole time in our history, like for me, like yourself, like it holds such value because a lot of life matriculation happened during that time, right? Our life
Yeah, we grew
grew.
up. Yeah,
We grew up on the court. We made new friends on the court who are even till now somewhere in our friends. It's crazy.
crazy.
So, and it might be another episode, but that's like why I absolutely love sports so much.
It brings people together.
It brings
Bring
people
an Indian
together.
guy and some random white guy together.
Can you, where else would it be a met? It's the perfect place to have met,
Where else?
right?
In the melting pot here.
Melting pot.
Crazy.
Yeah, man. That was awesome.
So yeah, no, I don't have anything else other than look forward to the next episode.
No, this was a great,
open,
yes. No, this was a great trip down memory lane, just reminiscing the good times. And I'm sure we'll have plenty more stories. We'll get some guests on here who can kind of tell those stories, like Jay and some of the 4 Mile crew.
Yep.
We'll try to just, relive some of those moments and take away some learning lessons. But with that, that's all I got. We want to thank everybody for joining us. Remember to once again subscribe, tell a friend, tell a family member, tell a neighbor, tell your dog, tell your fish, whoever. Just share it. Tell your work friends. I don't care. Tell somebody, right? And hopefully you can relate. Hopefully you have some stories where you were underestimated, and we would love to hear those. There's nothing I love more than an underdog story, right? Where you were underestimated and you came through. Like that for me is golden. So you have one, please share it with us. We'd love to hear it, right? We'd love to talk about it. So remember to once again subscribe all the platforms at Think RBA. And with that, sir, peace.
Till next time. Peace.
Till next time. Peace.